It's like the best video ever.
This is crazy.
We got 25 minutes. We gotta go. What's going on? Let's go Wednesday.
Wednesday. Today is episode 12. Episode 12. I'll stop doing this after 20, maybe.
She won't. She actually probably won't. She'll just keep flashing her fingers and have me flashing it. Guys, welcome. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm trying out my AirPods for the first time with this bad boy. We are incredibly excited about today. We're excited about extending bench talk. We got a special guest. But first, we got to get to that question. So let's throw that up. Janelle, where's my drum roll, girl?
Today's question is, why should you...
No. Go ahead. I love your dramatic pauses are the best.
Why you should add network marketing to your business portfolio? That is such a good question. Should we?
I'm really excited to get into this.
Why should we? All right. Well, if you know anything about Winston's background, you probably know what our answer is.
Absolutely, right? But guys, we didn't want you to hear from just us. You know, obviously we are in that industry. That's what we do. But we wanted you guys to hear from somebody who is, I'm incredibly excited to introduce this brother. An entrepreneur, somebody who has multiple businesses, a great friend of mine, an amazing father and husband. I don't want to spoil or give it all away, but before we bring him, we just want to give you guys a proper intro to the gentleman that you guys are about to hear.
Thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, let's see.
There is.
Perfect.
There he is.
There's
Welcome
a bit
to
of a
the
delay.
show.
A bit of a delay.
No worries.
Well, Winston
Welcome
and
to
Janelle,
the show.
thank you so much for having me on. It's a true pleasure. I'm really happy to be here. So you asked me to introduce about myself. Listen, I'm a married man, family man. I have 4 kids. I have a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 4-month-old. Don't ask me the birth dates because God, I can't remember them, and don't get me on trouble. I think they're watching. All right. So my background, I am in corporate finance. That's where I started initially. I ventured off. I did a little bit of real estate in the capacity of a real estate agent. And that was, I picked up a lot of experience along that route. I moved back then to corporate America. But since then, what I've been focusing on is basically I'm building a portfolio so that by the time I'm 50, 55, I can step back and not be dependent on any particular job, right? Because one of the things that I see with a lot of my coworkers, we get paid very well, but the issue is that let's say they buy a house. Now, when they buy that house, they now become married to their job because, if the market moves or, if they look for they're laying off people, they start going frantic and panicking, and it leads to a lot of anxiety. And I really wanted to just structure my life separately, a little differently, because I really wanted to just focus on my later part of my lives. I wish I knew the knowledge that I knew now, but on the later part of my life, I want to focus on just spending more time with my family and just living that rich life that we all can if we make the right decisions and we put in the hard work.
So Mark, I'm happy you jumped into that, and we're friends for. I was actually somebody actually asked me this the other day, and I was trying to think of how many years it was that. Obviously we worked together. We did real estate, to like Mark said, in the capacity of agents and a broker, and working on that side of the quadrant. Helping somebody else to get rich or helping someone else get wealthy. And one of the things that I can say that you and I have talked about that we've learned, and I really want to share with the audience is. There's times in your life that God will have you maybe in a place working, doing something, and you may not necessarily understand the value or what you could be taking away from the situation. And you and I have sat on your, the couch you had on 104th Street, asking like, what is it that we're here doing? So you do multiple businesses. I kind of want to get into each of it because we have some audience members on, so maybe they can ask questions. Talk to me a little bit about the psychology of, transitioning from agent, you're on that side, and now you own multiple properties. You have, Airbnb business going. Talk to us a little bit about that before we really dive into today's questions and answer why, amongst all these things that you have in a portfolio, you would add network marketing to that.
Absolutely. So I'm going to take it a step before that, prior to me coming to us working together at Vertical City. In 2008, right at the market crash, when the market crashed, I realized that there was an opportunity there. And the opportunity was that interest rates were still relatively high at that time, but housing prices fell. So I knew it was a perfect time to jump into the market. Now, mind you, at that time, I had saved up pretty much my life savings, and I poured all of that money into a 3-family, property in East New York. At the time, the murder capital of New York. So, needless to say, it was a lot of anxiety. It was a lot of money, but I am so grateful that I took the risk because, one of the things that I did before I got into real estate, because I didn't have the experience prior to getting to Vertical City. So one of the things is I got the knowledge, right? And then once I had the knowledge, I just took the risk. So I jumped in, and 10 years, yes, there were issues that surfaced from owning that property, but I can tell you guys it's worth over $1 million right now. So needless to say, it's been an absolute blessing and a really, really good investment. So from 2008, I had left Morgan Stanley. I don't know if you remember that back then, around 2008, and I came to work at Vertical City around that time. And one of the things about me is that I get really tired of repetitive, boring tasks. And at the time, that's the function that I had in Morgan Stanley. It was like I just felt like, although I was making good money, I just felt like I was going nowhere fast. There was so much going on, and I was stuck at this computer for 10 hours doing absolutely nothing that was meaningful to me. All right. So I quit. It was a Thursday, and matter of fact, it was raining. I remember that day really, really well. But before we get that, there was a funny experience that took place. It was around bonus time, and my boss took me into the office, and he's like, "Mark, right? No one got bonuses, and you got a bonus. Now you got to promise me you're not going to tell anyone the bonus you got." I'm like, "Okay, no problem." The guy gave me $500. I was like, "What? You want me to tell anybody about $500?" I was all right. That's it. That was the last straw. I was like, "I'm out of this place." So I jumped ship. I was working out with my buddy Winston, as you can see that buff man over there, and he told me he was a vice president at a real estate firm, and I really enjoyed working with him. It piqued my interest, so I went and I got my real estate license. And to answer your question, what I learned at that office, when I came to the office, I knew nothing about real estate, right? Aside from the property that I owned, right, I learned a little bit more about the commercial aspect of real estate. I understand what it meant to have a family-owned business, right, and how to manage that, and where the real money is in real estate. It's actually bringing together investors and buying larger portfolios. But to get to that point, you have to have an attention to detail on the cash flow, meaning that put this down on a spreadsheet. What are my expenses? What is the vacancy rate? What is my net operating loss? What is my net profit? These are all things that are not, they sound high tech. They're basic stuff, very basic stuff. And that's it. Like, that is the secret sauce. If you're in the black, jump in. If it's a red, don't buy it just because you want to own a home. It's foolish, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I live by. That's what I've learned in finance. I have a degree in finance, and that's what they've taught me for 4 years. So I live by that.
I love that. I'm going to put a pin in the part you talked about people coming together to get into a property, because I think it ties so much into what we saw in what you could do with network marketing. But talk to me now about, obviously, we mentioned that you own multiple businesses. Some of the other businesses that you've gone into, funny enough, we were working at the gym and you were speaking to a young lady and you shared with her some incredibly wise words about what happened if you don't maybe necessarily have the huge success that you would necessarily want from something, but you shared something with her and she took great insight. Another, Joanne, what you were sharing about what you can take away from a business that doesn't necessarily do or maybe have the much success as you would want.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you, thank you so much for highlighting some of my successes, but I just want to let you guys know there's so many more failures than successes. But I think what I shared with Joanne is that I've had ventures where I've thrown concerts, right? Part of the when I did my exodus from Morgan Stanley and I came to Vertical City, if you remember, Winston, one of the things I was working on was throwing a concert in Jamaica. of all places. I never had any entertainment background. Again, I went to the library. I went to the library and I read a book about music and entertainment, and I got the knowledge and I applied it, right?
Wow.
And that was a successful loss. I mean, it was a total disaster, right? In the sense that we didn't make any money. I did get a month stay from Jamaica about that. Now, all joking aside, I did have investors that invested, right? And it was two of us, so I made my investor whole through other partnerships that we had. But what I learned from that experience is that, planning is key. You see, I had obtained the knowledge, right? And I kind of knew what I was going into, but I didn't plan properly. Like, for instance, we had food, we had beverages, and we had ticket sales. I only had enough men to cover ticket sales. Food and beverages, it was up for grabs. And people, a lot of things transpired in that event. But thank goodness, it turned out for the betterment of me, honestly, because, if I was to throw an event again like that, I'm not, saying that won't happen in the future. I have a lot of experience and I know how to plan so that to ensure that we get to a profit if we were to do it again. So again, it's just learning from your experiences. I think one of the key things about wisdom, which I love, is that you can take the knowledge and understand how someone applied it, and if you can understand that and apply it to your life, then that's wisdom. And knowledge. I just see it as this: is that a doctor can have the knowledge, right? He's a heart surgeon, right? He has the knowledge to fix someone, right? But you see him outside smoking a cigarette, so he lacks the wisdom. He has the knowledge, but he lacks the wisdom. So I try to get the application. So from various mentors, from various things that I read, I take the insight that they've learned and I take my experience and I apply it so that I can get to the point where I want to be. So, but every experience, I do not regret it. Every single thing in my life, as painful as it's been, it's elevated me to the next level.
Say that. So go for it, Jay.
No. You said a couple of things that for me were huge nuggets. One is that you said you have failed way more times than maybe the successes show. And the other thing, like, you were like, oh, I wanted to do a concert. So I went to the library and read a book about entertainment. Like, how many people do that? Like, go find the resources and then like you said, then go apply it. I think that actually is pivotal to what I believe you're going to go into now, which is what are some of the things about network marketing that you believe adds to your portfolio that the other things you can't necessarily get? And interestingly enough, like, what did you do in order to find out more about that, so that way you can make your network marketing business grow?
And Mark, right before you go, I just want to, and just so you guys know that this is really what we do, I just want to share a story about how we got into this. At the time in my life when I saw the industry and decided to get back in, I had, my house was going through foreclosure. I had a significant amount of debt. I remember the day we joined the company. They asked us, and this is a teaching moment for everybody who's in here. They told me to make a list. They say, put down the name of people who you've done business with or you'd want to do business with. I threw a list of people down. I did what they asked me to do, which was call, or the goal for the night was to call all 10 people. I called 7. All 7 people said no. These are people who I had made money with, all these different things. And I got to be honest with you guys. I went back in to the person who enrolled me the next day, ready to quit. It was, you got 11 days to get or 13 days. I can't remember how much days we had to get our money back. You had to get your money back. And guys, please listen to this part right here. I said I was going to call 10 people. I called 7. They did all say no, but I said 10. Thankfully, and I thank God every day for this, the person who enrolled me said to me, Winston, you told me 10. Who are the 10 people? Mark Chin on this right now was number 8 on my list. Don't ask me why he was number 8, but he was. But I called, and I got to tell you guys this. There was no presentation. Mark and guys can tell you right from here. It literally was me going, Mark, they told us there's a way for us to travel and make money. He said, all right, I'll call you back. Got off the phone. The woman said, is he going to call it back? I said, he will. He called back and said, here's my credit card information, and got started. If it wasn't for that happening, I am telling you that hundreds of people that came into our organization, including Janelle Villiers, that you sit right here with me, would not have been in my life. So I only share that part before what Mark is going to say, because in our industry, guys, you probably have a system within your company. They probably ask you to do certain things. I'm probably telling you right now, like me, you're thinking it doesn't make sense to do it. Follow what they're asking you to do. Follow what they're asking you to do. All right, go for it, Mark.
So if I'm gonna, I think I got the question, Janelle, but tell me if I'm wrong, because you were breaking up a little bit. You were asking how I got into network marketing and how I'm adding that to my portfolio and the outlook. Was that the question, or did I miss it?
Yeah, that's essentially
That's it?
it. So, mhm. Or like specifically, if
Okay.
I can like dig deeper, like what specifically does network marketing, or how specifically does network marketing add to your portfolio? Like what does it have that some of the other stuff that you have in your portfolio does not?
Got it. Absolutely. Got it. Got it. So one of the things that really appealed to me at the time when I found network marketing, I mean, I knew I was familiar with the industry, and to be quite honest with you, there was a stigma associated with it. So I was a bit leery. And the fact that Winston called me, see, I respected Winston because we worked in real estate together, and I knew that he was serious about making money, and he also knew how to make money. Right? He had a very good, he was a very good businessman. So when he called me up, I looked at the cost. And I said, okay, to enter into this program for next to nothing, I have the income potential of what? And when he shared that income potential with me, for me, it was a no-brainer. Now, granted, as most people, I kind of procrastinated when I first joined, which I'm telling you, that's the worst thing you can do if you are serious about your business, right? You want to get into action fast as possible. And the reason why is the paychecks are going to come faster. And there's relevance to this story, right? They don't call me money making Mark for no reason. Let me tell you, when I got that first check, guys, oh my, something chemically changed. I was like, oh no, this is real, right? And it was lights out after then, right? Now, the reason why I add network marketing to my portfolio is for several reasons. The first is because I'm an income earner, meaning that I receive a W-2, I'm looking for anything where I can write off an expense, right? Now, for me, it's a win-win situation with network marketing. If for the first year, let's say I don't incur any income, right, which is not the case because I am earning, right, I can use everything that I've spent on that business as an expense, meaning that I get more of my tax dollars back, right? Not an accountant, but I mean, look it up for yourself. Simple, basic stuff, right? The other reason why that I love network marketing is because of the cost benefit. I mean, there's no an industry that I know of where you can get in for, I mean, in some companies for less than $1,000, less than $500. And in the income potential that they're offering is over $1 million for some of these companies, right? So when you look at the cost benefit, right, and you assess what it is that you really want to change in your life, I mean, this is just a catalyst for you to get there and you to get there in a low cost way. I mean, if you look at any other way, any other investment, I mean, I told you guys about the investment I made in 2008. I mean, it was my life savings, guys. It was scary. Now, it was a great investment. Real estate is great. In fact, I'll tell you right now is a good time to get into the real estate market. We'll talk about that a little bit later if you guys want. But I just that very appealing that I can generate income relatively quickly with a low amount of work and it duplicates and I don't need to be there. I can be significantly insignificant to my business. That is very appealing to me. One of the things that I always tell Winston, I don't want the fame. I just want the money. Keep the fame. And that's what appeals to me about network marketing.
I love that. Now, we did talk, Jay, was that good? Okay.
Yes, that's good. But I noticed that there are some people who are watching us, so I just really wanted to shout them out. Becky, I know you said hello. Jeannie, thank you so much for being on with us today. If you guys can just let us know where you're tuning in from, and if anything that Mark just said brought value to you or made sense to you or was new information for you, please let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. Absolutely.
And if you guys have any questions for Mark while we still have him, please also throw those up in the comments as well so we can have Mark answer those for you. So Mark, and this is where I was asking to put a pin in earlier, because in that sense of real estate, we've had conversations with people within our own team about the idea of using this as a vehicle, because I know a lot of people sometimes when they look at getting involved with something like this, they consider it something that's maybe going to take them away from a goal that they're building towards or something else that they're focused on in their life. And for you, you've obviously found that you're still working at your job, correct? You still have other businesses that you're doing. But network marketing allows you the leverage of having and working with an organization that you get to create within your network or your social circle, right? And to build. But the question I want to ask is, how have you found, or what are your thoughts on using this as a vehicle to create capital that we can then use to go into other business ventures going to doing other things. We had conversations about, again, getting a lot of people successful in network marketing so that we can use the money to go buy buildings. We can go use it to buy hotels. Talk to us a little bit about how you see that as something that a lot of people, to your point about that low price point, getting involved with this would make the most sense.
Absolutely. And it's a perfect timing for that question, because we just talked about the benefits of network marketing from my perspective. And, the one thing I can say is this. Once we build in network marketing, once you've built a team, and the team now is raising other leaders, similar to what's happening in our team right now, what happens is you're able to step away now, and that money keeps coming, right? Now, for most of us, a lot of us that are not born in, we don't have real estate trusts, we don't have, we didn't come from a wealthy family. The only way really to get to wealth is to do the groundwork initially, and that groundwork is saving, right? And saving is the hardest part, because, as you know, most people don't save, right? And that's what I've done. I think people look at me and they look at my success, but honestly, all I've really done was I've been disciplined in saving my money. It's all I've done over the past 25 years is I just saved. I didn't even save all of it. I had fun along the way. I just made sure I'd save some, right? And the power of compounding. But the beautiful thing about network marketing, and because of the experience that I have, because of the experience that you and Janelle have, we can take this now and provide value to the consumers. What do I mean by that? So right now, I am looking for a second property in California. I bought a first property out in the desert, and oddly enough, I found out about this property through relationships. So I see you guys saying relationship marketeer there. A lot of my successes have come from people just referring or mentioning the idea, me going and doing the research, and then just ultimately taking the risk, right? So we found an opportunity in California. I mean, the return on investment in this place is close to 100% in less than a year. So you can understand what's happening there. The issue is, for most investors, number one is money. And the second part of that is to have a property manager that can manage the property. Well, we have the property manager, right? Now, for some people, like, oh my God, Mark, you're telling me to go invest $300,000 in the desert? I don't know. I don't even know this property manager. I don't want to take on the risks that you want, but I want the return that you want, right? Funny, they don't want to take the risk, but they want the return. So my intention is to take the knowledge that I have, build the capital from network marketing, and we form an entity where we allow investors to purchase not the properties, but purchase units, ownership of a collective collection of properties that are managed and taken care of by a property management company. We are managers of that entity. That way it becomes a real passive investment.
Whoa, Mark, hold on. What was
Sure.
the music? that was go ahead.
That way it becomes a real passive investment.
That was my timer. So 25 minutes.
Okay. Cool.
Well, he's 24. So we have 60 seconds.
You got 15 seconds. Go.
So it becomes a true passive investment. And, I think for most investors, that's appealing because they don't want to worry about property management. They just want to know when the direct deposit is coming and what expenses I have to pay. And I think that can be accomplished, and that's something that I'm working on. And network marketing is a great catalyst tool for us to get there and bring a lot of people along the way.
Amen. Say that.
I love that because, I was talking to somebody on our team who right this moment is in California. So if you're watching the replay, Devin, I'm talking about you. So Devin and I were talking, and we were just saying, you see a lot of different people, particularly certain cultures, and they love to come together as families and invest in things, particularly property. That's something that we see a lot here in New York. And, for some reason, we may find that there are other people, instead of coming together, there's a friction. There's almost I'm going to one up you, and I got $10,000, but you only got $5,000. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to do this on my own. And so they're struggling to come up with the $15,000, $20,000, where if you just came together, you guys could actually build and get to your goal even faster, which is what many other communities and cultures do. So I love what you're talking about. I love how this is basically a springboard for us all to start to have the capital to do multiple investings, to create a portfolio. And what to me is really exciting about that is that we're doing it together, right? Nobody builds wealth on their own. And so for me, that's something that's really exciting. Is that something that you've learned from you know what? We're out of time. We got to go into overtime.
I was about to say, girl, you're giving them too much. You're giving them too much. They gotta come to Patreon for the rest of that. But guys, we definitely want to thank everybody that was on live with us, everybody who's watching this on the replay. Guys, just give it up for Mark, aka this man's name changed while he was talking. His name changed to Money Making Mark. that must mean another check got deposited. But guys, if you want to follow the rest of this conversation, you definitely got to hit us up on Patreon. The link is going to be down below, and we're going to close this out with,
as always, remember you deserve
the good life. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Guys, don't forget, we're going to be here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Mark, thank you so much, brother. Stay on with us as we take this over to Patreon. Have an amazing day, you